Time is here. Take advantage. If you're interested in promoting your brand here at Viral Hip Hop News, music, brand, or even yourself, email me, Sam Ant, at dlsmediainc1@gmail.com for more information. Don't wait. Let's go. A former street soldier turned military vet is forced back into a life of crime to save his kidnapped son from certain death. Go watch Where Loyalty Lies, starring Jamal Dennis and me, Sam Ant, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News. Where Loyalty Lies, an Abden Brothers film, available now on Tubi. Watch today.
Approach, about doing a reboot of Family Matters, and here's what he had to say. It's very interesting, and we're going to tie something else into this as well, so take a listen.
2014, I was approached by one of our former producers that Netflix had interest in doing a reboot of Family Matters on the heels of Fuller House having done so well. And that didn't make any sense to me. I didn't feel that it was right for us to have to copy what Full House had done to fit inside someone's business model to capture the magic that made our show make sense. What I imagine for any reboot effort would be inspired by what really happened. How Family Matters came to pass is actually a greater story than what was made up inside the show. Going on to a show that was never intended for me to be the star of, making it last for 9 years, growing up on a studio lot and in public school at the same time, that to me was the greater story that needed to be told for today. When I pitched that to one of my former executive producers, all he had to say to me was, Jaleel, nobody's interested in your memoirs. But here we are 12 years later, and I think there's some people that might be interested in those memoirs.
So it looks like he wrote a little book, a memoir, now 12 years later. I want to get your thoughts on it, though, man. Do you feel like there's another angle to this? Or do you feel like, Jaleel's on to something?
All right, so the first half of what he said, him not really wanting to do a reboot because of the success of Full House and Fuller House and not want to take away from the magic, I understand that completely because I feel like some of these reboots that they do kind of does take away from the magic that we had when we were younger watching the shows. It takes away from it, kind of makes it corny. So I get that.
Right.
But then on the flip side, he's saying what he thinks will be better is basically a documentary on him. It's like, dog, like, nah, like... But you asked me if I think it's something deeper, and I do, because when we think about Urkel and the success of Jaleel White when he played Urkel, he was a young kid. He was at the tip top of stardom, but there were things behind the scenes that happened that really kind of traumatized dude. He was traumatized, and I want to play a video after we get your thoughts on what you think about it, but traumatized, and a lot of things happened to where he probably feels like now he's old. Yeah, you damn right this needs to be about me because y'all don't know what I went through to make that show what it is. Even though I don't agree with that, if that's where he's going, I could get that. But don't nobody want to see a memoir on Urkel as opposed to a reboot. Now, if you just come out and you did a documentary and talked about some of them dark things, you got our attention. But just to have a memoir on Urkel and how it came about, I might give a shit about that.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. And when I was listening to him, I was kind of thinking to myself, damn, he kind of got like a little arrogant here a little bit, But then again, I mean, maybe he has the right to, because he turned that show into an iconic show, a staple that was in a lot of families' home, including our home, for a long, long time. But I do think maybe he's being a little bit selfish in this, trying to make it more about himself. But I'm interested in hearing this other angle and going a little bit deeper, though. A lot of people probably didn't hear about this aspect of it as well.
Yeah, no, we know, obviously, he played Steve Urkel. He played Stefan, his alter ego, the cool alter ego side. But one person that he played was Myrtle Urkel. And when we were younger, Myrtle Urkel was just an image to us. It looked weird, this bitch motherfucker playing Myrtle Urkel. But at the time, we didn't understand the significance of it that we do now, clearly. But some people did. And I want to get your thoughts on this because this is one thing we did not know. And let's see what you think about it. Give me 1 second as I pull this joker up. Here we go.
I remember when I did Myrtle Urkel for the first time.
Well, hello there.
And I just remember, again, I get a lot of my enthusiasm from other people's satisfaction. Everybody on set that week was just amazed. I did run into an issue. Joe Marie and Reggie at that time were very sensitive to putting black men in dresses. And they heaped that on me. And they let me know that I was not doing our race a service by putting on that yellow dress. But everybody has a default. Do you crumble? Do you wilt under pressure? Do you rise? Do you surprise yourself? My default tends to be to take it up a notch. I mean, that evening I felt like a girl. I felt like a girl playing Myrtle Urkel. But I cried like a baby at the end of that taping. I just broke. And I just cried. And this is what's awesome, where you have a great father. You have a good family. And my dad just rose up like a lion and was like, I've watched my son deal with this all week to pull out this performance, and he will never play this character again. You got it once, it's done. But he shouldn't have to carry the burden of some adults making a child feel bad for playing a girl just in fun.
Real quick, I want to get your thoughts. I really
Go ahead,
do.
go ahead, yeah.
But it wasn't the one time.
Right.
He did it way more other times.
Yeah.
But go ahead, bro.
And even if it was like, you say he rose up like a lion, how come he didn't rise up like a lion and stop the shit from even happening? You had two editors on the show that said, look, this is doing a disservice to the black race. They seen it back then, and you still did it. Why do you feel the need to still do it? And that just goes to show you that it's more so of an agenda, because did he articulate that to the producers? Like, yo, I don't, I'm sure he probably did, and they probably pressured him into doing it or told him this would take his career to that. Who knows, right? I'm just speculating there. But if we never saw Myrtle Urkel, we still would have loved the show.
It was fire.
It was fire. Like all the little other things he would do, the Stefans and this and that. What is up with this dress shit, man? It leads me to that one thing. Like, yo, it's a sick fetish, emasculation thing that these executives want to do to every black male, man, it seems like, in Hollywood. Or at least most of them. I ain't gonna say everyone, because some of them don't do it. But a lot of the ones that we spoke to on this show, they did it. Some were comfortable. Most weren't. And this is another example of, someone not being comfortable. And the man said he cried. He cried, and he said he felt like a girl. Like, this is deep, bro. But go ahead, man. It's deep.
You think about when he was at the height of he was the hottest thing smoking. He had his own doll. It's like a toy.
Yeah, right.
It was lunch boxes, book bags, black, white, Asian, Hispanic. Everybody loved Steve Urkel. He was the man out here when it came to just celebrities and TV show icons and all that shit. And you think about why they had to feel the need to put him in that as a child. He wasn't, when he first put it on, he probably was no more than 13, 14 years old. So, and I often think of real hard conversations we had with our elders and things that they told us that we didn't want to hear that made us feel uncomfortable. But they said it anyway because they know the significance of it. And even though we weren't there, it's like, damn, dog, if your dad knew that wasn't it, and in his soul he knew that wasn't it, maybe they should have put a hammer to that shit right then and there. But as you listen to Jaleel White throughout interviews, them people never respected him. They treated that dude like he was owned by them, that image was owned by them, and that's why I go on like how hot he was, because it seemed like they treated him like that didn't matter. They created that dude that could take him away. He was asked sometimes, could he go to the Emmys? Could he be involved in the Emmys? No, why do you need to go? Because he was the hottest fucking thing smoking out here in the world at time on TV, but they told him not to do this.
The realities of growing up as a black child actor in the business, which is very different than what a lot of white child actors face.
It's fair of me now to definitely say it was very different being you were made to feel African American. Fred Savage was always invited to the Emmys. He was always treated like a darling during his time. I was never invited to the Emmys even to present. It was pretty much told to us I would be wasting my time to even submit myself for a nomination. And it was so normal, it was so normalized, you just shrugged. It was like, oh yeah, no, it's for the white kids. Yeah, I always took tremendous pride in how many different people from all walks of life came up to me and recognized Family Matters. I was always really, really proud of that, because that showed a complete opposite of the way I was being treated by our television elite.
To do that, they kind of treated this dude like he was a spec. You're going to do what we want you to do, put on what we want you to put on, and act how we want you to act because we own you. And I think he's bearing some of that shit, dog. I think now as an adult, as he goes on through it, like he said, his dad said that'll be the last time. Dude was 6'3", with a voice deep, still playing Myrtle Urkel. And how ironic is this that he was flirting with Eddie, and now Eddie allegedly likes transgender. It's just crazy, dog. And that's a coincidence, I guess. But it's just, man, it is. You said it runs deep. Yeah, that's to say the least.
And
bro.
it seemed like they wanted to keep him boxed in.
Yeah.
To that, like, even in real life, you're Urkel.
Yep.
Like, you ain't. Why you going? If you only how you going to the Emmys, nigga? If you come with your suspenders on and your pants up your ass with those glasses on, you can't be nothing outside of that. And did he ever do anything outside of that?
Little shit.
Little stuff.
Not like that.
But never like really where his career could have blossomed to. Because obviously to do that type of role, you're an excellent actor.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to do that and walk around and keep that voice, which I think he said his voice was messed up.
Yeah.
He kind of got like, you know what I mean, stuck with that little accent or whatever of his voice. So yeah, it's deep because I didn't even know a lot of that before. Like, I think you might have told me, but it kind of slipped my mind.
Yeah.
It's deep. Yeah, go ahead.
My bad. But when you act, right, and this is why I told people that represent me certain roles I'm not doing. It's just I'm a 41-year-old man. Certain roles I'm not digging into. Y'all can kind of go ahead and know which roles those are. I'm not doing it. Because when you get into the mind, like you have to literally get into the mind of that person that you're playing in order for it to look realistic. So when he said he had to turn himself into a girl, there was a process that he had to do to feminize himself to get to that point. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's not. And sometimes it'll mess with you mentally. That's why I was like, I'm not doing that, because I can only imagine some of the characters that I played, the space you have to get into to make this shit real. For him to turn into a girl, he turned into a girl. And that's why he broke at the end of it. They for lack of a better term, they buck broke him.
But wow, and you know what you said was kind of deep too. It's how when he turned to the murder, he was trying to get with Eddie. Now look at Eddie right now.
I'm saying, bro.
You know what I mean? Busting down Sydney Star, whatever her name is, breaking her back, or his back, I should say.
Yes, man.
So yeah, wow, man.
Find out soon, because I think Trump taking away them things. So we gonna
But that's wow, man. But that's actually a great segment. I'm glad we